What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the untold risks of Ethereum 2.0. Let's get into it. But before I jump directly into the content, I just completely revamped my website, bitcoinlockup.com, as you can see on the screen here. There's some exciting stuff coming, and you can always preview my newest videos there before they hit YouTube or any other platform. There will also be bonus exclusive content with giveaways coming that will not be made available anywhere else.
And here we go.
Welcome back. So in some of our last videos, we talked about some more Polkadot projects and their impacts on the crypto ecosystem. I've also done deep dives into Solana projects, Cosmos projects, and of course, dug deeper into NFTs. Today, I wanted to switch it up a bit and touch on the untold risks of Ethereum 2.0. Now, there are three main categories here that I think are going to affect the overall rollout of ETH 2.0 and ultimately whether or not it will be successful or perhaps not. With that said, ETH 2.0 is promising faster transactions, lowering the barrier to entry in terms of costs and access, and the overall user experience and usability of the network. Let's start with the first and most obvious issue or question that arises with switching from proof of work, which is the current consensus mechanism on Ethereum, to proof of stake, which is the upcoming consensus mechanism. Number one, what will happen to Ethereum miners after ETH 2.0 mainnet launches? Well, the coming proof of stake network will make ETH miners obsolete, but that doesn't mean that they're going away. Let me explain. Ethereum's core developers have been working on changing the network's consensus protocol from proof of work to proof of stake. This requires significantly less electricity to maintain while also allowing for transactions at much larger scale. That network, dubbed Ethereum 2.0, will maintain security through people pledging or staking their coins. Attacks can be warded off because bad or inept actors will have their deposits taken from them, also known as slashing. When the current proof of work chain merges into the proof of stake chain and kicks off Ethereum 2.0, this will be allegedly near the end of the year, but more on that later. According to the Ethereum core developer Tim Biko, mining is effectively then turned off. After the merge, he believes that the blockchain agnostic miners will have two very easy choices.
Tech is coming. Tech is here. Tech has its hands around your throat.
Quote, right now, it looks like it's going to be a mix between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum Ravencoin, close quote, or just Ravencoin. Ethereum Classic, which has a market cap of 4.7 billion as of June 22nd, is the other chain that emerged from the 2016 hard fork of the Ethereum network. Ravencoin, which has a market cap of 436 million as of June 22nd, is currently at around 8 cents, and it's the native asset for the network, transferring both digital and tangible assets. Neither are well known or as widely used as Ethereum, but that doesn't exactly matter. What matters is that, like Ethereum, their tokens can be mined with rigs that use graphic processing units or GPUs. ASIC, or application-specific integrated circuits, miners are more powerful, but Ethereum uses an algorithm that takes away most of the advantages. So GPU miners have an exit strategy. ASIC miners have a much deeper uphill battle. What's going to be interesting though is the amount of ASICs on Ethereum have everything to lose. They can't really go anywhere else and start mining something new. EIP 1559
It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
set the unofficial game clock for the merge because it represents the point at which miners may start abandoning the Ethereum network because it's not as profitable. But by doing so, they risk missing out on a very big payday. Spark Pool, which controls nearly 1/4 of the overall ETH hash rate, meaning it's able to mine 1 of every 4 blocks, is opposed to EIP 1559, calling it wealth distribution and a tyranny of the majority. Spark Pool is also aggressively against the merge, but I don't really think there's much that they can do, and I also think they realize that. So ETH miners could simply create a fork of Ethereum that doesn't turn to proof of stake and create sort of like a Ethereum Classic 2. It's more likely that Spark Pool and others will change with the times and the Ethereum protocol, or they're going to get left behind. So what will happen to the current Ethereum miners then? Well, according to the documentation of the Casper upgrade that is part of the ETH 2.0 roadmap, the network will initially support a hybrid model that would involve both proof of work and proof of stake, therefore leaving some space for both block validators and GPU and ASIC miners. Now, once Ethereum runs fully on POS rails, miners will then have 2 options. One is to sell the equipment and use that money to accumulate more ETH and start staking it, while the other option is, which is available exclusively for GPU miners, is to simply switch over to ETH hash networks and just mine other altcoins. One of the major altcoins that might benefit from proof of work miners leaving Ethereum is the original Ethereum Classic, or ETC, a more conservative version of the blockchain that reportedly has no POS related plans. Since it also runs on the ETH hash algorithm, its hash rate might experience a significant spike as a result of the potential miner migration caused by the ETH 2.0 launch. In other words, either most miners will switch to a new coin to mine on a different blockchain, like Raven or Ethereum Classic, or there might be a hard fork and have a split of the community of ETH validators, which won't be good for anyone. We all saw what happened with the great Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash split in 2017. The community was fractured and some argue was never the same again after that took place. Number 2, whales could end up controlling most of the proof of stake pools. So Ethereum whales are depositing more ETH to the ETH 2.0 contract during all these protocol upgrades. Over 95,000 Ether, over 287 million have been staked in the ETH 2.0 contract in a day, as per data from on-chain and market data platform CryptoQuant. It seems the number of new depositors is fewer compared to the number of deposits, which according to Yang Zhu, CEO of CryptoQuant, is a firm sign that whales are bullish on ETH by staking more tokens to that contract. This number adds to the 5 million ETH that was staked in early June, which is now well over 6.5 million Ether. As of shooting this video, that has a USD value of over $24 billion. By that time, the number of validators on the ETH2 network was about 152,000, but it rapidly increased to 200,000 following the latest news on the protocol update. The Ethereum upgrade not only has the attention of the existing crypto community like you and me, but also with several institutions worldwide. So between institutions and whales like Vitalik and Gavin Wood, etc., they could effectively control this new network. My main issue with proof of stake, and in this case with Ethereum, has always been the person with the most ETH wins, essentially. Now, it's more complex, but not only from a monetary standpoint, but also from a governance point of view. If whales control the supply, they will ultimately have massive sway on future upgrades, EIPs, and so on and so forth. It's interesting to see this problem already being solved on Kusama and Polkadot networks by setting up strategic crowd loans for new coins with smaller batches and rollouts at a time. This is a nice segue into my third and final topic. Number 3, Ethereum has some serious competitors and they aren't going away, such as Polkadot, Solana, and Cardano, and so on and so forth. There's more. But as the industry evolves, so-called Ethereum killers, as we've all heard, or rivals to Ethereum, they basically started appearing over the last really 18 months, claiming to have superior technology. Simply put, Ethereum killers are emerging blockchain platforms that are hoping to take away some of Ethereum's market share overall for not only users, but also monetary. Ethereum killers are generally open source blockchain protocols that capitalize on improving one or more of Ethereum's main issues, such as network speed and high gas fees. Some investors hypothesize that other second or third generation blockchains such as Cardano or Binance Smart Chain and Solana could take some of Ethereum's market share by presenting better alternatives for users before Ethereum rolls out ETH 2 and solves its current problem. Ethereum is currently in the midst of one of its biggest updates, obviously ETH 2.0, and a lot of updates that will happen on Ethereum to create a more efficient consensus architecture known as proof of stake, making Ethereum consume at least 99.95% less energy. The most recent upgrade towards ETH 2 is the London hard fork, which I've talked about in a previous video. This includes the much awaited EIP 1559, or Ethereum Improvement Proposal, that is aimed at fixing the volatility of gas fees and making Ether into a scarcer asset by introducing coin burning. But while ETH 2.0 is being rolled out, the competition to overtake or at least take a bite out of its market share is only beginning. Here are three of Ethereum's biggest competitors in the smart contract race, in my opinion. I will start with the least likely, in my opinion, to overtake ETH in terms of user growth and overtaking the overall market cap. Let's start with Cardano, aka ADA. Cardano doesn't offer smart contracts yet, but it already launched its first smart contract testnet known as Alonzo. Now, Alonzo upgrade is projected to be completed by the end of August 2021. As of shooting this video, it was just released, deploying a very long-awaited smart contract enabling DeFi applications to run. But when it comes to the most efficient consensus architecture, Cardano does have a head start, while Ethereum is still working on its transition to proof of stake. Cardano was initially built and already built on proof of stake. Cardano's proof of stake algorithm makes the network more not only energy efficient and eco-friendly, as transaction validation only takes a fraction of the computational power if you compare it to Ethereum now. Now, personally, what Cardano promises is great. What it's actually delivered is not. It's not reliable. Since its inception, it's only released approximately 5% of what it said would be up and running and decentralized by 2020. It's now the end of 2021, and there's more and more promises and less to show for it. Next up is Solana. Now, Solana is the world's first web-scale blockchain and currently the fastest network in blockchains as of shooting this, thanks to its unmatched throughput of 50,000 TPS and an average block time of 600 milliseconds without the need of any layer 2 scaling solutions. Similar to ETH, Solana also offers an open infrastructure to deploy dApps and smart contracts. Solana is around 3,800 times faster than Ethereum and only costs 0.00025 cents per transaction, compared to Ethereum's average of $6.49 per transaction. Speed and transaction costs are both crucial for blockchain technology's real-world use cases and future adoption. Solana's technology will likely not be enough to reverse Ethereum's widespread adoption among institutions and developers thanks to Ethereum's head start in the market, and there's a pretty wide gap. It's also faced with competition from other rivals to Ethereum that are arguably more popular. Solana will unlikely not probably dethrone ETH in the near future, but as we did learn the hard way in September 2021, Solana's infrastructure was not only vulnerable, but was proven to be inherently centralized. And you can't have that fast of transactions throughput and be fully decentralized. There are trade-offs, at least right now, currently. This is likely a market where both Solana and Ethereum can coexist and is probably likely for different dApps. And now finally, ETH's evil twin, Polkadot. Polkadot is a next generation blockchain referred to as a sharded, heterogeneous, multi-chain architecture, meaning that it's a blockchain protocol with multiple chains, aiming to connect different blockchains into a single unified network, enabling them to communicate via its relay chain. Blockchains that connect with the Polkadot network are known as parachains, parallel blockchains. Once connected, they can leverage Polkadot's proof of stake chain or relay chain to increase transaction throughput and benefit from the network's robust security mechanisms. The Web3 Foundation, the team behind Polkadot, was founded by Gavin Wood, who is also a co-founder of Ethereum with Vitalik, and Jetta Steiner, the co-founder and CEO of Parity Technologies. Polkadot focuses on building infrastructure for Web 3.0 by creating an interconnected blockchain network to empower the end users. Polkadot aims to solve two of the biggest criticisms surrounding the current blockchain infrastructure: scalability and governance, which refers to how communities manage the protocol upgrades if you're uninitiated. These are both prevalent issues for the Ethereum community. Polkadot solved the issue of scalability and interchain operability with the aforementioned parachains, which enable networks to process multi-parallelized transactions, empowering the network to theoretically reach 1 million transactions per second. Another upside of Polkadot over Ethereum is that the protocol is forkless, meaning that it doesn't take a hard fork to make updates or introduce new features or upgrades. Hard forks have been known to splinter the Ethereum community multiple times before, a risk that isn't a danger to Polkadot's future. Now, despite Polkadot's enhanced scalability and cross-chain interoperability, Ethereum's market cap is currently over 15 times larger than Polkadot's. This is because institutional adoption is a significant driving force for crypto valuation than the underlying technology. And institutions are betting on Ethereum despite its volatile gas fees and slow transaction times. Polkadot is still the new kid on the block, proving itself before wider institutional adoption. Most DOT holders are currently invested in Polkadot's future-proof technology and the potential for it to bring a more connected Web 3, but others fear that ETH 2 will render Polkadot's bridges useless. In the short term, Polkadot is unlikely to steal Ethereum's thunder, in my opinion, but it's definitely one of the most interesting technological alternatives that has the potential to revolutionize blockchain ecosystems as a whole. Obviously, my personal belief is that Polkadot has the highest chance of legitimacy competing with Ethereum in general, let alone ETH 2.0. But wrapping this all up, as exciting as the next generation of Ethereum is, and it is, I think it's only fair to cover some of the inherent risks of switching to an entirely new ecosystem and consensus, with new validators, new consensus, new governance, and more things we haven't considered yet. But even with all the promises that have been made, we are still only in the first inning. Initially, the Ethereum Foundation anticipated that the transition from ETH to ETH2 would only take approximately 6 months. Now, we're coming up on almost a full year since the first beacon chain launched, and there have been several bugs and delays so far. My prediction is that in a best case scenario,
that's the best case scenario.
ETH 2.0's mainnet will be live for the world to see and use by December 2022, more than a full year from right now. And even more realistically, rolling out in mass by mid-2023. I'm taking bets though. Which is gonna come out to the general public first? Your Cybertruck backorder or ETH 2.0? Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on this and when you think we might see ETH 2.0 roll out to the wild. And then go ahead and click right here in the top right corner to watch my video on my prediction for when ETH will hit $10,000. See you guys in that video right now. Crypto Renegade out.